The bluest areas of America are the worst. We are in the middle of our second consecutive one-term presidency. And thanks to the radical left, words no longer have meaning. This is the new Cancel This show. This is Cancel This, episode 15, recorded early June 2021. I'm your host, Yo Grabba Gabba. This is Pavement Road Productions. And this is the show Cancel This, a show that fights back against cancel culture and annoys the woke folk. Been about 2 weeks since we recorded. We did not get a chance to record last week due to some very hectic scheduling, but we're here now and we're ready to go. So let's start off with blue areas are a disaster. The bluest areas, the most democratic, strong areas in the country are a disaster. And the sad thing is, the most uninformed usually vote Democrat. I mean, that's just a statistical fact. People who don't really know what's going on in the world vote Democrat because they hear that's the cool thing to do because culture tells them to vote Democrat. People are moving from Democrat cities, though. Democrat states, Democrat parts of the country. The more control Democrats have of an area, the more people move out of that area. Happens all the time. It's been happening for a long time. Democrats have got absolutely decimated in the census. They lost so many states lost stuff. New York lost a congressional seat, an electoral vote, by literally 89 people. People are leaving. People are leaving the blue areas. People are leaving New York, Massachusetts, mostly New York, and they're heading down to Florida, down to the Carolinas, because they want to live somewhere that's free. Of course, the governors are saying that it's the weather. Well, it's like people leaving California to go to Texas. Yes, it's a little bit warmer in Texas, but they have really nice weather in California, so it's not the weather. Blue areas are an absolute disaster. Highest crime. Not just the cities, by the way. The states have the highest crime. High crime areas. High poverty areas. High unemployment areas. Terrible results with the virus. Terrible virus response. But the governors, they think their policies are very popular. They think that everything's so popular. They think people are leaving because of the weather. Well, the fact of the matter is, they're leaving because the policies are terrible, and yet the governors and the mayors, they just keep doubling down, and tripling down, and quadrupling down on the same terrible policies. The policies that have been terrible that make people leave, they keep doubling down on them. They keep going further. Like, California is the model for the radical left. California, yes. The one that people are leaving that state in droves. They can't wait to get out of there. But it's the model for the radical left. California has so few problems. They're like doing all these climate change initiatives. Like, people are literally taking craps on the street in California. You have to walk down the street and avoid garbage and homeless people waving their junk in your face. In San Francisco. London Breed, the mayor of San Francisco. She was basically creating a lab and given a very generic, stupid name. But yes, she's pushing for all these new climate change initiatives because they want to be very green, be woke as possible. The wokest of the woke. Meanwhile, nobody has a job. People are fleeing the city. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the country. High poverty rate. But let's just go as radical left as we can. Let's get as many, because we have no other problems. We have no other problems. Like, let's send our money to Guatemala to fix Guatemala when meanwhile the United States is falling apart. The price of everything is up. Can't buy a house. Can't build a house. There's still a moratorium on evictions. Like, people have been living rent-free for a year. A year! Rent-free for a year. Why would you ever build a new property and rent it out? Why? Because the left doesn't want you to be able to do that. And again, the Supreme Court shot that down, that you can't, that they don't have, that the organizations don't have the authority to do that, to just extend moratoriums on evictions forever. But the left doesn't want people to have to pay for their housing. They want everybody to have free housing. So if you work harder than somebody else and you have a nicer house, or if you get inherited the money, or if you're given the money, or however you acquire your wealth, if you have more than somebody else, you're not allowed to. But they're not radical. They're everything's normal. Everything's normal under Joe Biden. So the leftist there is, right? Again, I think I mentioned it last podcast, last show. Lori Lightweight, the lightweight of Chicago. Freaking Fonzie Bear. The freaking Muppet who runs Chicago. She should only give interviews to black and brown reporters. So racism is the answer. So you want people, you want your city's doing so well, people are getting shot. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the country, which it used to be the most dangerous. It probably still is the most dangerous. But there's a lot of other ones who want to take that. It's a high honor to be the most dangerous city in America. So like St. Louis is trying to take that over. Baltimore is trying to take that over. There's a lot of cities who are, Portland obviously. There's a lot of cities who are competing for that title. New York City obviously is dangerous. Bill de Blasio, Wilhelm the socialist, the communist, ran that city directly into the ground. But the blue areas people are leaving. They're losing representation. The Republicans are. There's gonna be a lot of gerrymandering. Obviously, there always is a lot of gerrymandering when they redraw the districts and everything like that. Obviously, but the Republicans have a lot more control of the things that are being gerrymandered and stuff. And so, the congressional seats, the red areas are getting all the congressional seats. So even if the votes stay the same, if Republicans don't gain ground in the House, they'll still probably take the House once they're done redrawing the seats. Because they're gaining congressional seats in the red states and losing congressional seats in the blue states. But again, the efforts are to turn the red and blue the red states blue with illegal immigration. They're loading up Tennessee with illegal immigration. The mayor of Knoxville wants more illegal immigrants. Because who cares about federal law? So they're trying to turn the red states purple and then blue. And the people who have been living there for all these years are going to lose their voice. But again, not our problem. It's because of the weather, guys. Yeah, it's just because of the weather. The weather is bad in some states, so because the weather is bad in New York, sometimes people are moving to Florida because the weather is better. Also because it's a free state. But the bluest areas are the biggest disasters, and they keep again doubling and tripling down. They go with more woke stuff, more equity, more higher taxes, more anti-quote unquote racism. Pushing their critical race theory garbage. Jason Whitlock recently joined the Blaze Network, and he was talking about, we don't need a Black History Month. We just need to teach actual history, because there's a lot of black heroes in history, lots of them. And if we teach actual history, there's gonna be a lot of prominent black people who are recognized in history, because there's a lot of great black men in history and black women in history. We don't need to just say, oh, here's a month of people we talk about black history. actual history of America, with all its good and bad, is black history. And he's so right. But let's people are leaving these states, so we're going to import legal immigrants to replace them. Have them, give them, promise them all the free stuff so they'll vote Democrat. Try to turn the red states blue, even though people who are leaving the blue states in droves to go to red states. But the ones who are staying are like signing on to socialism. They're like, oh, we love this stuff. We love all the stuff you're doing. We love the green stuff. We love the windmills. We love windmills. And solar power. We love all that stuff. We hate white people. We hate the police. Defund them all. No crime is a crime. Just, if nobody died, let it go. Who cares? So that's what you're getting in your blue states, your deep blue states. That's what you're getting. Welcome, congratulations. And guess what? That's what you voted for. That's what you wanted. Elections have consequences. But California is the model. California. People are leaving California and New York. Those are the two models for what Joe Biden wants America to look like. And it's funny, they were talking about, I heard him talking about today, I think on the Blaze, I think I listened to the Blaze a little bit this week. They said the people who were born in Texas are a little more liberal than people who moved to Texas. It used to be that people were just moving to Texas because the company was moving to Texas, but now people are moving by choice to get away from the garbage of their state. And they are more conservative than traditional Texans, because the traditional Texans, only about 40% of Texas is actual born in Texas. And there are several generations usually, of Texans. So they haven't, generationally, the values start to disappear. The traditions have to disappear over time. And so people who grew up in Texas, grew up in Florida, they've never seen oppression. They've always lived in a great state. They've always lived in a free, awesome state. So they don't know what it's like to live in a state like New York. So they are more likely to be more liberal and vote for more democratic policies because all they've known is prosperity. They don't know how quickly it can go away. But people are moving there for a reason. People moving out of these blue hellholes to go to the red states. Because blue areas are a disaster. Let's talk about our back-to-back one-term presidents. So obviously Trump was a one-term president. Who knows if he'll run again? I personally don't really care. I'd rather have a Ron DeSantis president, because he's Trump. He fights as hard as Trump, but he's way more polished. I mean, I think whoever Trump throws his weight behind, if it's not himself, I think we'll have a real good chance. I would like to see him, Mike Pence, mend the fences and that kind of thing, but that's neither here nor there. We're definitely in the midst of a second one-term presidency, and it's you can tell that Biden, he said originally he was only going to run for one term. He just wanted to get the power away from Trump because Trump's so bad, and he wanted to reverse everything Trump did and start over. And then he was asked a few months ago at one of his very scripted press conferences if he was going to run for a second term, if Kamala Harris would be his vice president for a second term. He said, "Oh yeah, I definitely plan to run for a second term, dude. You'll be 82, okay? You'll be 82. You're not running for a second term. You're not going to. You'll be lucky if you have enough. You'll be lucky to make it through your first term at the rate you're going with your health. And I don't wish that on you. You're a hateful person. You lie like a rug. But I don't wish that on you. But there's no way you're making it through a second term. There's no way. you're grooming Kamala Harris to take over for you because you could have to step down in a minute for health reasons. You know that. So what Biden is doing is he's shoving as much stuff through. He's trying to get as much stuff through, and people won't really pay attention because he can say it's for COVID. It's for COVID. It's for COVID. COVID's over. Dr. Fauci's a liar. He's been outed as a liar. People still think people still worship at the altar of Fauci. And I apologize if people take offense to this, but Fauci's a liar. He's a damn liar. His emails prove he's a damn liar. He's been lying to you from day one. And guess what? He is a criminal. He committed perjury. He should be in jail right now. But I digress. COVID is on the wane. It's very much on the wane. It's been on the wane for a long time. It was actually on the wane, starting to tail off when Biden took over. Because they're already vaccinating 1 million people a day, and they're increasing from there. Now they got to 3 million a day, and now they're going down again because everybody who wanted the vaccine had gotten the vaccine. For the most part. So now they're not vaccinating any people. But Biden needs COVID. He needs a crisis so he can push through everything he wants. Obama said Biden has his staff and is completing his agenda. It's Obama 3.0. Obama shouldn't have won re-election. He was very unpopular his second term, but he ran against a disgrace in Mitt Romney. If he ran against anybody who's strong, a strong candidate at all, he loses his re-election because he was not popular. He was only popular literally with certain minority groups. So, Biden knows he's only going to be one-term president. He knows he has 4 years to get everything done because he's not going to be able to do it for 8. He's not going to have the strength to do it for 8. So he's going to ram as much stuff as he can through now. And if he has COVID, if he has the cover of climate change, he has the cover of all these problems that are manufactured, most of them. All these crises that aren't crises, but the crises that are crises aren't crises, as we talked about last time. If he can have all these disasters going on that he creates, then he can come in and have the government solve it. He wants to change how people feel about government. The government will control their lives, every aspect of it. And they'll be saying, "Thank you, may I have some more?" That's what he wants. He wants the government to have total control of everybody's life. He wants to redefine how people see the government, how people interact with the government. He wants to be a transitional president. He wants to be a transformational president. He wants to not just take it from Trump to the next president, the next quote-unquote normal president, the next career politician. No. He wants to fundamentally change the country. Why? Because it's good? Because it's going to help people? No. Because it's going to help Joe Biden. And it's going to help his ego. Because he knows he only has, again, a limited amount of time to get this stuff done, so he's got to do it now. Meanwhile, his son is calling a white man the N-word because he's drunk and high out of his mind. But that's okay. Can you imagine? Where's BLM? I thought BLM'd. Where's BLM for all the shootings in those blue areas? I thought BLM'd. So we have to get Supreme Court packing. He said Biden promised debt cancellation on student loans. Nope. Supreme Court packing. He said, "Oh, we have to wait to see till after the election what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do until you vote for me." Okay. Pushing critical race theory. Equity. He lost in court because he was giving COVID aid to farmers, but only black farmers. Or minority farmers. White farmers couldn't get any of the COVID aid. And he lost in court to that too. but he needs people not to notice what he's doing. So he needs the cover of all these crises to cover what he's doing. He wants to import tons of illegal immigrants. He wants strict gun control laws. He wants to take away guns. Beto O'Rourke is his gun czar. Beto O'Rourke, Mr. Hell yeah, we'll take your AR-15. Hell yeah, we're gonna take your guns. Yeah? And good luck going back to Texas ever again, you tool. Beto. Bruh. Beto. My name is Beto. My name is Robert Collins, actually. Robert Collins. Beto. Beto O'Rourke. Fake Irish tool. Fake Hispanic Irish tool. People thought he was the next John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was a staunch Republican compared to Beto, bro. It's not Beto. It's not Beto. It's not Beto. It's Beto. Because his T is soft. Because so is Beto. Beto is a soft dude. A soft T for a soft dude. But yes, take away guns. Yes. Increase, just destroy the dollar. Just destroy it. Destroy it. Inflate it to the point where it has no value at all. None. In the name of equity. Give reparations. Definitely reparations. We need reparations. So people who had nothing to do with anything from slavery have to pay reparations to people who weren't alive during slavery. Right. Segregate. Let's bring back segregation. Because Biden worked with a segregationist and eulogized a Klan member. It is an out-and-out racist. He thinks black people are inferior. He does. Listen to what he has said. He thinks black people are inferior to white people. Listen to his speeches. Listen to what he said. He thinks black people can't think of themselves. He thinks they're not capable of having attorneys or accountants. He knows he can't win again. If he ran again, he knows he wouldn't win again, so he's not even going to try to run again. He's not going to win if he runs again. He's not going to even try. His honeymoon lasted very, very short. Almost about half the country supports him, and the other half does not. Most presidents in their first 6 to 8 to 10, 12 months are like 70% approval rating. He's at 50. 50. So he's not going to win again because he's not going to go up. He's not going to gain support. So he's not going to run again. So he's just going to try to shove as much stuff down your throats as he can. Fundamentally change the country. He wants to be known as the person who changed the country. And he is going to be known as that. A terrible, terrible president who destroyed the country. That's what he's going to be known as. Who's done irreparable damage. And he doesn't plan on being around long enough to see the effects. He's going to inflate the dollar and try to hang on until he's out of the office, and he can blame the person who comes after him. Unless the person, of course, is Kamala Harris, then it'll be Trump's fault. Still. If Kamala Harris is president for 8 years, it'll be Trump's fault. Like, remember that guy from like 12 years ago? Yeah, it's his fault. So all the radical policies he's putting in place, all of them, he knows they're not popular. He knows if he tries to run again, he'll lose. But he's just gonna say he's too old to run again. If he even finishes the full term, he's gonna say he's too old to run again. Even though he said he was going to because he's strong enough to run again. He runs upstairs even though he falls up the freaking Air Force One stairs because it's a slight breeze that might knock him over because he's so frail. Free college tuition. Yes, that's what we need. We need more idiots being indoctrinated and the value of tuition going down. If everybody has it, the value goes down, dumbass. Like a college degree. Like Dr. Jill, the greatest doctor. If you're dying of a heart attack, she'll give you a junior college degree. She'll save your life by giving you a junior college degree. Disgusting. Of course, the media's not going to cover any of it. The media's going to say how great he is, how wonderful he is. Joe, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Well, I can't decide because I can't make a decision because it wasn't written down for me to what I'm going to have to do. So I'll say I like both flavors. I'll say I like chocolate and vanilla. Because I can't choose between chocolate and vanilla, so I'll just pick both. Because it wasn't written down for me, so I don't know what the answer is. I wasn't given 6 months to study for a 30-second speech. But the moderate Biden, and you know what? Joe Biden might be a moderate if he existed. If he was a real person, he might be a moderate. I bet you Joe Biden is actually a moderate. But he's not running his own administration, so who the hell knows? But it's one heck of a strategy. Stay in your base until you get elected. Once you get elected, just destroy everything. Make the military woke. Divide the country on race. Inflate the dollar. Put America last. Pay off your cronies. Give money and help to foreign governments while destroying your own infrastructure. Putting in all kinds of government programs that make things more difficult. They have long-lasting negative effects. Open the border. Undo basically everything Trump did. Undo it. All the progress we made shows back in the direction. Have a lot more people living off the government by increasing unemployment benefits. Increase censorship. Tear down the First and Second Amendment. And then just say that you don't want to run again because you're too old. Because you know all these things you're pushing are not popular. So just say, you know what, I can't run anymore, I'm too old, and that's it. So you get all these things done. You just push them all through. Try to end the filibuster because it works against you. When the filibuster works for you, it's great. When it works against you, it's not good. It's racist. Damn, Joe, you must be a major racist because, you use the filibuster a lot. Like your side uses the filibuster a lot. So if it's a racist thing, it must be really racist. Taking full government control of all elections. Again, as much damage as I can do in 4 years before I just decide that I'm too old to be president. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Just say you're too old to be president. After 4 years. And you can't do it anymore, even though you couldn't do it to begin with. And you don't have to face the consequences of your actions. Just destroy the country. Who cares? You won't be long enough to see the consequences. Your grandkids will be taken care of because you already have 4 houses, and you want to tax the rich because they don't need another house. But I guess you need 4 houses, so you'll leave quite the nest egg to your grandkids. And they'll be shielded by a tax law. But when you increase taxes to create a socialist country, our kids are going to pay for that. Our grandkids are going to pay for that. Not yours. Why do you care? Finally, I want to talk about this other topic, and I can spend a lot more time on it because it is really important. I'm probably not going to spend too much time on it here today. But that's something to talk about more in the future. The left has changed the meaning of so many words. Words no longer have meaning at all. Like, let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. The feminists, right? I love feminists. They're the best. Capital F feminists. Just another F word. Feminism. Just another F word. There are no such thing as mothers anymore. It's birthing people. Birthing people. The left keeps calling these people birthing people. Because men can have babies, and non-binary people can have babies, and trans can have babies, and other people. So if you're having a baby, doesn't make you a mother, it makes you a birthing person. So you gave birth, doesn't make you a mother. Well, I guess that's true. The first thing they said that's true in a long time. Just because you give birth to somebody doesn't make you a mother. Just because you impregnate somebody doesn't make you a father. So I guess that is true. But of course it's true for the wrong reasons. Birthing people. Because if you give birth, it doesn't make you a woman. Actually it does. Biologically it does. If you see yourself as a potato, I don't have to see you as a potato. Now, if you want me to call you Mr. Potato Head or Brian Stelter, same thing, I will call you that, and that's what you want to be called. I'll call you whatever you want to be called. If you want me to call you Mr. Z, I'll call you Mr. Z, whatever. But it doesn't change what you actually are. If you see yourself a certain way, it doesn't mean that you actually are that. I see myself as a 250-pound linebacker who's pure muscle, 6'5", a complete tank. That's how I see myself. Does that make it that's what I am? So birthing people, yes, because mother is offensive. The term mother is offensive to, and feminists are all about it. Feminists are taking the one thing that makes them unique, the single thing that they can do that men can't do, and are assigning those characteristics to men. Insane. Ridiculous. What words have no meaning? Disinformation and misinformation. Disinformation is an active campaign to falsify information. So like Russian disinformation is when Russians put out propaganda. China puts out propaganda. Misinformation is something that's not true or mistaken. You are mistaken. You gave out misinformation. Well, the whole point of censorship for Facebook and Twitter was to eliminate disinformation. Active lying campaigns. In other words, everything the Democrat says. But they changed that now to give misinformation. So something they disagree with is not going to be censored. Probably this post will be censored. What else? Racist. Everything is racist. If you have ever had a music lesson, you know if you accent everything, you accent nothing. If everything looks like a nail, if you only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If everything is racist, then nothing is racist. You've devalued the word beyond recognition. Words have no meaning. So somebody calls you racist, you say, "Oh, really? Name one racist thing I've done." Well, you're not. I'm not calling you racist. I'm just saying you're not anti-racist. You're right. I don't believe that there is such thing as systemic racism. I believe all people are created equal and they can do what they want with their lives. There's a lot of failures in all races. There's a lot of successful people in all races. In 2021, there are more successful people of all races than there have been in the last 100 years. Since, in 1921, there were less successful black and brown people in this country than there are today. Fact. A smaller percentage of the population of black and brown people were successful. Fact. So you say, I'm not anti-racist. I'm not a person who thinks that we have to destroy the country because sometimes things don't turn out well for certain people based on their own decisions and luck. Okay, well that makes you racist. No, it doesn't. We have to change every word so it only fits the narrative that we want to push. Because words don't have meaning. The word is whatever I need it to be at the time. That's what the word is. That's what it means. That's the definition. Defund the police. That's another one. Defund means to take away money from. Well, no, we don't mean defund, we mean reimagine policing. Oh, what does reimagine mean? It means taking away the police and making sure there's no police. Oh, so like defunding the police. No, not defunding the police. Reimagining policing. Because they don't have an argument to win, they have to keep changing the words. They talk into a circle until you say, okay, whatever, shut up. I don't care, moving on. 'Cause, 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 'c And the best story of the week, I'll just live with this. The best story of the week, this has nothing to do with any of the other topics, but this was just amazing. So, Matt Walsh for the Daily Wire saw a tweet from AOC that her grandmother, her abuela, was still living in squalor in Puerto Rico after the hurricane hit like 4 years ago. And of course, it's Trump's fault because Trump didn't, do enough to solve the problem with the hurricane, and it's the government's job to fix everything, of course, obviously, and he didn't fix it in Puerto Rico. So she's living, in a really beat up house 4 years later. Of course, AOC is makes $100,000 a year, has a Tesla and two nice apartments. But hey, whatever. Shut up. So Matt Walsh said, all right, well then how about we raise money to fix your grandmother's house? So in 10 hours, he raised $100,000 with help of Ben Shapiro and other members of the Daily Wire. And obviously people who listen to Matt's show. They raised $100,000 to fix AOC's abuela's house. And after 10 hours, the account was shut down. And the money was all refunded. Because AOC would rather her grandmother not get her house fixed than take money from conservatives. Because, the whole point of that story is that people will come together and do something good. If somebody's hurting, people who work hard and get to keep their own money and not have to give to the government will do way more good with that money than the government will. And honestly, I don't know if our house needed $100,000 worth of stuff to fix. But even if it was $20,000, they could have fixed 5 other people's houses with that money. But instead, they gave it all back. Because it's the government's job to fix people's houses. It's not people just donating their money trying to be helpful. Because it's the government's responsibility to do everything. It's the government's job to make you live your life. It's the government's job to coddle you from cradle to grave. From womb to tomb. I don't want to say the third one. It just has to say involves worms. The bottom line is, if you let people keep their own money, heck, I heard the thought, why don't we give people a tax menu? You have to give your money to the certain category. You have to give this much money away. Pick what you want to give it to. If you let people keep their own money, they'll do good things with it. The more income people have to give away, the more good will be done. But AOC doesn't believe that. She believes that it's the government's job to solve all your problems. And if the private sector wants to step up and solve your problems, no, it's not your job, it's the government's job. I'd rather, and maybe she was just lying because she is known to do that. To fake pictures. So maybe she was just faking. Maybe it's not her grandmother's house. Maybe her grandmother's house was fixed 5 years ago by FEMA. But that would mean Trump would get credit for it. We don't want that. It's an amazing story. She'd rather her grandmother live in poverty and squalor than help her herself. But she's trying to prove a point that, it's the government's job to protect people, and the government did a bad job to protect people, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, when tragedy strikes, good people step up and help. But we don't care about that. We want the government to step up and help. It's only the government. The government is the be-all and end-all. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can subscribe right below the bottom of the screen there. Like our page, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Paperwork Productions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube Paperwork Productions on YouTube. You can email our show directly, paperworkproductions@gmail.com, paperworkproductions@gmail.com. Like I said, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube so you don't miss anything. Try to get these out weekly. Like I said, it was a really hectic couple weeks. We'll be plenty more to come. Give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. And I'll keep them coming for you. Thanks for listening as always. And until next time, bye then!